As my brother said, this is the last night of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. First and foremost, we always like to give praise and honor to the God of Israel, which is Jesus, of our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This feast is very important for our salvation. All the feasts are very important for our salvation. Just listen to that song, "We're Going Home to Jerusalem." And most people don't realize that that's a spot that God wants us to be, in Jerusalem. And most of all, He desired that spot to pray to. He desired that spot to rule in Jerusalem. Not in heaven, as most people do in these Sunday churches tell you we going to heaven. But He want to be down here ruling with His people. So we need to get an understanding of these feasts. I remember my teacher telling me, once you got a great understanding of these feasts, you'll understand the plan of God. And I never could quite understand it until I started digging deep into these feasts. All these feasts are a shadow of Jesus Christ. Every last one of them. Like this feast right here, we purging the leaven out of our lives. He just uses leaven, uses bread with yeast in it as a symbolic teaching tool. Meaning that once you have sin in your life, it's going to puff you up. So He's showing us, don't eat no bread for 7 days. So you'll understand that don't eat no bread that has leaven or yeast in it for 7 days. Symbolizing, try not to sin. Understand what sin is within these 7 days. Be more conscious of it. Be more conscious of it, because when sin arrives, it's going to puff you up if you got some understanding. If you ain't got no understanding, you'll just roll on like it ain't nothing. So He's using bread, yeast, or leaven to give us a symbolic term of sin in us. Because He said He's the bread of life. And most of all, bread symbolizes His body. Just like bread symbolizes our body. He said, eat of me, which is the bread of life. We eat of Jesus and understand these scriptures and His word. So we can purge that sin or get rid of that sin. Or once when that sin comes about in your life, you'll know, repent of it. And try not to do it again. So understand what these feasts mean. They're all a symbol of Jesus and what He done for us. We're going to start always in Leviticus chapter 23. In verse 1. Read 1 and 2 and then skip to 4 and 8. This is why we're here. Not because Jeff said we're here. Not because our pastor said, okay, we're going to have us a Easter Sunday or Easter Tuesday, whatever day they want to celebrate certain things. Now we're here because the Lord said on the 7th day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, have a holy convocation. Yes. This is why we're here. Other than that, I'm in bed, or watching some TV, or doing whatever. But the Lord said, do this. So we're going to do what He said, because He has the keys to death and life. And more so the lake of fire in the king and the kingdom. We need to follow what He wants us to follow. Or He can put us in both. Go ahead, brother. Verse 1.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, concerning the feast of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocation, even these are my feasts.
We always like to emphasize these are the Lord's feasts, Jesus' feasts, not the Jews. Not, okay, these are what the Jews do and the Christians do something else. No, these are the Lord's feasts. If you declare that Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, you need to follow His feast. And most of these churches not follow their feast. They do 1, maybe 2 without understanding. That second one is communion. They don't understand that Passover is supposed to be held the 14th day of the first month, which you already done that. Now we in the 21st day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the last day of it. So we understand what we're doing. Go ahead, jump down to verse 4. Go ahead.
These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their season.
This is the season for it, meaning that it's a time and a place for it. The place is wherever you are, and the season is the springtime, when the beginning of the year of Abib. All these feasts should be kept in any land. Don't let them tell you that we can't keep the feast because we're not in the land. We can't keep the feast because we don't have the Levites. We can't keep the feast because Jesus did away with that. He nailed it to the cross. All this stuff I've heard. But he told us in verse 2, he said, verse 3, he said, in all your dwellings, anywhere you at, keep them. Keep them. He knows that we're going to be in the land of our captivity. He knows that. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 5. In the 14th day of the first month at evening is the Lord's Passover.
We did that one already. That one accomplished. Check one. Go ahead.
And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto the Lord. 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread.
We did that. Check one. We did the first night. Now we on the 7th night. Go ahead.
In the first day ye shall have an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein.
We had the holy convocation, and we didn't do no servile work. The ones that could abide by that. Go ahead.
But ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord 7 days. In the 7th day is an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein.
We don't offer an offering made by fire because Christ died. He took away the animal sacrifice law. So we are plugging Christ in that spot. And he said we shall do no servile work, meaning that you don't supposed to go away. It's a day off. God gives us a day off. I love it. But let's see how long we're supposed to do this feast. Let's go to Exodus chapter 12, verse 17. Understand what you're doing. We'll read one verse in verse 17. Exodus 12, verse 17. This is what it is, y'all. We don't understand why we're here. Y'all be following a man. That man would be me. And I ain't got no heaven. I ain't got no hell. But I sure can lead you to one or two. So you better check me out. See if I'm telling you the right thing. That's why we read. Verse 17, brother.
And ye shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, for in this selfsame day have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall ye observe this day in your generation by an ordinance forever. You
got to do this forever, y'all. We understand that the children of Israel were led out of Egypt on the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. We understand that. But most people don't know. You read that like, huh? What are you talking about? That's when you start understanding the Bible more. And most of all, if you want to be a leader in God's kingdom, how can he give you the keys of the kingdom and you don't know what to do? Everybody got a responsibility to study. It ain't just showing up to Sabbath class. It ain't just showing up to the feast. It ain't just, okay, doing if you want to be in God's kingdom, being a leader in his kingdom, you got to know what to do. I can't give you a job you don't know how to cut hair. You just follow me. It's only so long that it's going to wear off and folks going to say, oh, he don't understand what he's doing. I'm talking about in the barbecue field. You don't understand how to cut hair, or you don't understand how to do your craft, it's going to wear out. Folks will say, you fake. I can't let you do me no more. You're going to start losing money. And God searches our mind to see that we really understand the plan of God. I'm going to give him a job. I'm going to give her a job because they understand. They ain't just showing up being fake. And that's what people got to understand. We got to understand what it is we're supposed to be doing. Let's go to Matthew chapter 16 and verse 5. Let me show you what this feast really symbolizes. You just can't be a novice. Someone who just skims the book. You got to get in it. Put yourself in the book. These feasts symbolize a whole lot about Christ and how he purged sin from us. He purged us from the sin of death, which is the lake of fire. We were sealed. Once Adam and Eve ate of that, listen to say, they sealed us to death. We were going to the lake of fire. But because of his blood, he purged us from that second death. Matthew 16 and verse 5. This feast is just more than just talking about bread. He's just using bread as a symbol of something. Let's see what he's talking about. Verse 5, go ahead.
And when his disciples was come to the other side, they had forgotten to take bread. Then Jesus said unto them, take heed and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees.
So they went on their trip and they forgot to take bread. He said, this is not just talking about bread. I'm just using that as a tool so you can understand how leaven, when you put it in bread, it puffs up. Just like when we put sin in our life, it puffs us up. It hurts us. It kills us. He tells us to beware of the leavening of this Pharisee, or the sin of the Pharisee, the false prophets. Go ahead.
And they reasoned among themselves, saying, it is because we have taken no bread. Which when Jesus perceived, he said unto them, O ye of little faith, why reason ye among yourselves, because ye have brought no bread?
He said, man, what you reason among yourselves because you didn't bring no bread? Understand the bigger picture. Some people get so frustrated because they can't eat no bread with yeast in it. The bigger picture is not bread with yeast in it. The bigger picture is purging sin. Come on. Getting sin out your life. He's just using that, sometimes using that for a word like a sign or something. Just to show you how that leavening or that yeast puffs up in your life, it's going to put that sin going to puff up in your life. It's going to tell on you every time. Go ahead.
Do ye yet not understand, neither remember the 5 loaves of the 5,000, and how many baskets ye took up?
Yes, sir.
Neither the 7 loaves of the 4,000, and how many baskets ye took up?
Jesus asked, you remember how I fed all these people with 5 loaves of bread and how many baskets? He said, y'all worry about this bread. I can ever snap on a finger or make bread appear that feed millions. It's not what I'm talking about is bread. I'm talking about sin, leaven, sin. Go ahead, he's going to tell you here.
How is it that ye do not understand that I spake it not to you concerning bread?
They ain't worried about no bread. Most people put more emphasis on bread. He's trying to teach you something here. Go ahead.
That ye should beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees.
Yes, sir.
Then understood they how that he bade them not be aware of the leaven of bread, but of the doctrine of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees.
This is what this feast is all about. The doctrine, the sin of the false prophets. Don't fall into their group. Don't fall into their false doctrine. Most people have fallen into it because they feel, look at the world today. Everybody goes to church on the Sunday. Everybody's saying it's Good Friday is when Christ would die, and Resurrection Sunday when he arose. Everybody. He said, don't fall into that doctrine. But most of our people have fell into it, and we feel like we left out. I don't know more. I feel sad for them because they don't understand this is the most important thing you can do. Because we barely gonna make it in, y'all. Barely. Every little inch of this book needs to be done right as possible. Right. Let's go to 2 Peter chapter 2. This is what this book's about. By teaching you how to control yourself. If we don't know how to control ourselves, we messed up. If we let the leavening of these Pharisees, the leavening of these false prophets get inside of us, man, we might as well go to hell with gasoline drawers on. We're going to burn up before we get there. You can't fall for this. These false prophets, but they dead. And they kill you with what? Pleasure. They kill you with pleasure. They make everything fun. We can do some fun things. It's all depending on what you do. 2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 1. Let's see who has this leavening of sin in their mouths. Go ahead.
But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you.
Yes, sir.
Who privately shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that bought them, and bring up upon themselves swift destruction.
He said these false prophets bring about damnable heresies because of what they telling us in these Sunday churches. They heard it from somebody and they put it as a law. That's a heresy, like you hear something. The heresy is Good Friday. The heresy is Christmas. The heresy is Thanksgiving. The heresy is eating swine and praying on. The heresies, all these false ways that are not written in the book. And these false prophets are possessing this. And we thinking that they are doing so well. So well. If you think they're doing so well, that they are so great, you ain't read the book and understood the book. Go ahead.
And many shall follow their pernicious ways.
Yes, sir.
By reason of whom the way of truth shall be even spoken of.
He said, many shall follow their ways. Many. Look at the word. How many showed up here on the Sabbath? Very few. How many showed up on Sunday? A whole lot. How many showed up here on Passover? Very few. How many showed up here on Easter Sunday? A lot for the Sunday churches. Look at it. It's simple, but people looking for a big old thing that God's going to come down here and just look, grab us by the head. Look, this is what I'm talking about. Grab us by the head. This is what I'm talking about. Look at the sin they're doing. No, he's not going to do that. He's going to say, read the book and study to show yourself approved. You gotta make sure you study. Just like we study for tests in school to pass. And most of us in this world, we flunking. Because we what? We follow the man or a woman. I tell you all the time, you don't follow me. You follow this book. Follow the book. We're going to get back there. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 22. Ezekiel chapter 20. Let me show you some of the false doctrine. This 11 of the heirs of 11 of these false prophets. And you can spot them a mile away if you study, if you understand. And don't let them kill you with their tongue. How you doing, brother? This how you doing, sister? This how they do. They're so nice and sweet. Need anything? They don't care. All they want to do is make sure they get you in their church so they can make merchandise out of you. That's it. They're killing you softly, just like Lauren here said. Killing me softly. They're killing you softly with these little made-up good words. Let me show you some of these heresies that you don't understand. Verse 25. Go ahead.
There is a conspiracy of her prophets in the midst thereof, like a roaring lion and raven the prey. They have devoured souls. They have taken the treasure and precious things. They have made her many widows in the midst thereof.
What is he talking about? Yeah, these false prophets have taken the precious treasures. They didn't take the precious treasures of the Passover, of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, of the dietary law. They done took it away. They done put you in heaven. And Christ telling you he coming down to this earth. Revelation chapter 21 said, I saw the Holy Jerusalem coming down out of the sky to this earth. And they telling you you going to heaven. Taking that away from you. Taking that away from us. This is what they do. And we sit up here like, well, you kind of consider that. You deserve to go ahead if you consider that. Go ahead, brother.
Her priests have violated my law and have profaned my holy things. They have put no difference between the holy and profane.
Yes, sir.
Neither have they showed difference between the unclean and the clean, and have hid their eyes from my Sabbath, and I am profane among them.
They hid their eyes from the Sabbath. They ain't put no difference between clean and unclean. Just put it on the table and eat it. That's it. They don't understand that you can't baptize a woman if she on a menstrual cycle. Get in the water. They baptize them anyway. They ain't asking no questions. They don't ask the question, you can't baptize a man unless he's circumcised. They ain't put no difference between the clean and unclean. They just say, come on up, let's get baptized. A child, they baptize children. Children. Children don't know nothing about this book. They got a better chance of making it in than me and you because they're innocent. But they put them in the water. It ain't time for them. Go ahead, brother. Read some more of that.
Her princes in the midst thereof are like wolves raving the prey, to shed blood and to destroy souls, to get dishonest gain.
To get what? Dishonest gain. What is that? Money. Yeah. Dishonest. They make sure they have you happy enough to keep digging in that pocket. He made me feel so good. He said, my mom in heaven, looking down on me with praying hands. He said that your mama can talk to you. This a liar, man. You got a devil in your house if he tell you that. And also, you got a spiritual devil in your house. And you listen to him, you think your mom talking to you. Ecclesiastes said the dead don't know nothing. Their memory is erased from this lifetime. This is what these people are doing. Let's go back to 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 17. Before we start verse 3. I want y'all to understand, this is the stuff we're trying to purge from our life. Don't hide your eyes from the Sabbath. Know what's clean and unclean. Put a difference between what's profane and fame. We don't supposed to be illiterate in the scriptures. We're supposed to understand the scriptures. Folks say, well, you know, you ask some of you pastors about certain things about the law. Well, brother, we know in part and prophesy part. We don't know everything. I know one thing, he wrote it here. You should understand it. You're a preacher. You ain't trying to understand it.
That's right. That's right.
I'm trying to get it. 2 Peter chapter 2, we'll start at verse 3 and we'll jump to 17. Go ahead, brother.
And through covetousness shall they with frightened words make merchandise of you.
Like I said, with covetousness. How they do that? You coveting this wealth of the world. You can have a nice car just like me. All you got to do is just keep tithing more money. You can have a nice house like me. All you got to do is just keep giving me more money. That's all they do. That's all these words. They coveting this stuff of the world. God said, love not the things of the world. Don't love this stuff. You just be content. Be content. And try to do your best. Read that over.
And through covetousness shall they with frightened words make merchandise of you.
What do you mean merchandise? Meaning I'm going to make sure I talk so good to you that you're going to pay me for my car. Make sure I talk so good to you that you're going to come and clean my house. For free. This is what they do. I'm going to talk so good to you so you can go buy me a new car every year on past anniversary. This is what they do. I'm going to talk so good to you that you're going to take care of my first lady. She ain't going to never have to buy another suit or dress, you know, like y'all going to keep buying. Merchandise. Look, I take care of my own family. I don't need that. All I need you to do is just take care of the business of the Lord. That's it. But these people right here, they get pissed off, boy, if you don't honor them on past anniversary. You're pissed off, you don't honor first lady. Well, go ahead, brother.
And through covetousness shall they with frightened words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not.
God said, it ain't lingering. It might seem like they're getting away. Compared to eternity in 70 years, that's like a vapor. Vapor. God promised us 70 years on earth. Can you imagine you had all that fun for 70 years, and next thing you know, you go to the lake of fire for eternity. You had all the best. You had all the cars, all the clothes, everything you possibly can have. But you going to the lake of fire when you get there. That's what he told David. David said, I almost slipped when I looked over there and seen the sinners having fun. Because I envied them. We can't envy them. We got to keep our nose in this book. Jump down to verse 17. Go ahead.
These are wells without water, clouds that are carried with the tempest, to whom the mist of darkness is reserved forever.
You know, what good is a well without water? No good. Don't have nothing. That's these pastors. Meaning God telling you, look, they don't have nothing to get you. These Sunday preachers don't have nothing to get you into the heavenly kingdom on earth. They're a well without water. All they can tell you about Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas, past anniversary, I mean, so forth and so on. All these paganized stuff, they are well without water. They can't even feed, they can't even quench your thirst. Go ahead.
For when they speak great swelling words of vanity, they are lured through the lust of the flesh.
You see what it said? They speak swelling words of vanity. They lure you in your flesh. They go in your flesh to find out, what do you want? What do you want? Do you want a new car? Do you want a new house? Do you want a woman or a man? Do you want a husband or a wife? They speak to you. They look at you and say, I'm gonna tell you the exact thing to feed your flesh so you can continue to come to me every Sunday. Every Sunday, every Christmas, every Thanksgiving, every Easter. You're going to keep feeding me, and most of all, I'm going to keep feeding your flesh. A well without water. Go ahead.
They lure through the lust of the flesh, through much wantonness, those that were clean escape from them who live in error.
Oh, this wantonness. You want stuff. A lot of times, you don't need the stuff that you want. And it gets you in trouble because you're trying to keep up with the world, and it takes you out of the realm of God. You get this new job, this new house, now you got to work extra hard. Now you got to put extra pressure on you. You got to make sure if they say, look, you got to come in and work on the Saturday or on the holiday, man, you say this, I got to go. Why? Because you're going to put yourself at a level where you can't afford to get off. And most of all, you can't afford to leave these jobs. Now, I ain't knocking nobody, I'm just telling you like it is. This thing should be the most important thing. Everybody got to work out their own salvation. Everybody. Work on it. Go ahead.
Verse 19. While they promise them liberty, they themselves are the servants of corruption, for of whom a man is overcome, of the same is he brought in bondage.
You see what I'm saying? Brought in bondage. This stuff brings you in bondage. This wantonness of stuff, it keeps you working. Not even thinking about the Lord. It keeps you it's feeding the flesh. Feeding you, meaning your body. All of the wantonness of your flesh, you thinking about it constantly. I want to be dressed like her. I want a new color like him. I want this. I want that. I want. Do you need it? Do you need it? He giving you, he said, why they promised them liberty, they themselves are the servant of corruption. They think because you get a car, house, clothes, woman, wife, husband, that's supposed to liberate you. That don't liberate you. Especially if it's outside the will of God, you breaking the law. You want somebody, you coveting somebody's husband. I can't wait till he let her go. I can't wait till, well, he let her go. I'm going to get her. Covenant. You got a lot of deacons out there who marry these women in the church, man. You got a lot of women in the church who marry other people's wives, husbands. All this stuff. It's just so much stuff going on, man. It's just hard to even keep up with these Sunday church. And these pastors, they let them get away with it. He said liberty, right? Let's see what is liberty. Let's go to Galatians chapter 5 and verse 1. What is he talking about liberty? He tried to deliver us from something. And this is what this Feast of Unleavened Bread is all about. Purging out this sin. Purging it out. What is this liberty he's talking about? Galatians chapter 5 and verse 1. We want the real liberty, but we don't want this fake liberty. Meaning I serve Jesus as long as he's paying my bills. That's fake. Meaning I serve Jesus as long as he give me enough money. That's fake. What did Job tell his wife? He said, you speak as a foolish woman, I'm gonna take him on damn God and go against him. He said, shall I receive the goodness of God, not the bad of God? Come on. You're speaking foolish now. You're going after your flesh. You're going to go through some things. Hold on to it. Let's look at this liberty. Verse 1. Go ahead. We're going to read one verse here.
Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Christ has made us free, and be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage.